Hello and welcome to all. Wanting to stand out from the rest of the people can lead architects to design incredible houses, some buildings that stand out at first glance like the ones we are proposing today. Authentic works of art that will go down in history for their form. Imagine a sublime and modern house that was built inside a rock, or a man who managed to transform an old cement factory into an almost heavenly home. It would be almost unimaginable. And yet these houses, and many others, do exist. Would you like to discover them? Then stay with us until the end. These are the incredible houses that really exist. From now on, living in a house buried and covered with vegetation is possible. The American manufacturer, Green Magic Homes, offers several prefabricated, eco-designed modules that can be built between 3 and 10 days depending on the model desired. These Green Magic Homes are even easy to assemble and are guaranteed waterproof. It seems almost impossible, and yet, these strange burrows that seem to come straight from Tolkien's fantastic universe have become a reality. Fire-resistant, non-toxic and emissions-free, these houses are available in a variety of designs. Depending on the buyer's desires, the structure can be covered with fruit and vegetables to make a lively and original vegetable garden, or the desert version, covered with sand, rocks, and cactus. Moreover, everything has been thought out so that this house can be as modern as it is practical. With an antibacterial system, this modular house even has natural thermal insulation. Owners of such houses will be in perfect harmony with nature. Cave houses, built out of natural stone, are often works of art that leave no marble behind. But what the architect and photographer Amy Kandelgonker has imagined as cave architecture is grandiose. In fact, he was inspired by the Madain Saleh archaeological site in Saudi Arabia to design a house that would blend perfectly with the stone. This architect aimed to show as much as possible the contrast between the ancient and the modern. And he succeeded. However, it took time for the architect not only to imagine the shape of the house but also to recreate the shape of the rock in detail. Amy explained that the rocks of Madain Saleh are very complex from a visual point of view. Therefore, simple cubes had to be used to make up the house, to achieve a better visual balance. In the end, Amy managed to design a house with a minimalist design inside a rock. Although this house has not yet seen the light of day, the result was truly stunning. Robert Konieczny, the founder of the studio KWK Promes, has created an outstanding architectural work. Located in Brenna in southern Poland, this incredible hexagon of concrete appears as if it was laid on the slope of a hill. Resembling Noah's Ark or a spaceship, this house rests only partially on the ground. It is moreover this particularity that gives it all its charm. But that's not all. To accentuate the original and sculptural side, only a drawbridge allows access to the house. Which is, to say the least, very atypical. However, if the exterior seems extraordinary, the interior of this residence impresses just as much. All the more so since the huge openings that cross this monolith offer a sublime view of the mountainous landscape. You must admit that this architectural sculpture is strikingly beautiful and simple. It is therefore not without reason that it received the prestigious Wallpaper Design Awards in 2017. Doesn't it make you dream about cement plants? Well, this layout designed by architect Ricardo Bofill should really change your mind. When Ricardo bought this building dating from the Second World War in 1973, it didn't look like much. But he gradually transformed it into his home. Located on the outskirts of Barcelona, the building of extraordinary proportions holds many surprises. Indeed, inside the large spaces are numerous and create a very pleasant feeling of openness. The ceilings are very high and, contrary to what one might expect, the rooms are very bright thanks to the huge windows throughout the building. As for its exterior, Ricardo chose to use walnut wood with all kinds of greenery that now seems to create a kind of protective armor around the house. It is easy to understand why the architect chose this former cement factory as his home. Jim Onan is an enthusiast of Egyptian culture. And you can tell. He decided to build a 4-meter pyramid to grow plants and observe what might happen. Soon, he noticed that they were growing 3 times faster inside the structure. It was then that this father of 5 children decided to build this time a miniature replica of the Pyramid of Giza, which he covered with gold, to make a family home. But what happened next was incredible. A bubbling of water formed and the water spilled all over the first floor of the pyramid. Jim and his wife then had the idea of draining the water to the outside of the pyramid to form a lake around the house. In the end, Jim ended up with a beautiful house, very modern, and full of amazing phenomena. Unsurprisingly, this unique house attracted many visitors, so much so that Jim Onan turned it into a tourism business. Cliff Haven is a great way to cut yourself off from civilization. This cliff-top home, built in the mid-1980s, is located in Montezuma Canyon in Monticello, Utah. Rectangular in shape, this unusual dwelling seems to sink into the cliff itself, as it was built into a natural, cave-like opening. In addition to this remarkable feature, this immense house has a large surface area allowing the owners to live a life that is both luxurious and isolated from the rest of the world. Moreover, this self-sufficient house has its own orchard, a vineyard, solar panels connected to a battery to produce and store electricity, and a tunnel dug to allow natural air circulation and rainwater drainage. In conclusion, this house is undoubtedly one of the most surprising in the world. Philip Widener is a genius handyman with a passion for architecture. And when this lawyer decides to build a cabin in his spare time, he doesn't do things by halves. Evidence of that is the Goose Creek Tower House. This is a gigantic log cabin lost in Alaska. Nicknamed the house that touches the sky, this ingenious invention, built in the middle of nature, is very impressive. In fact, the structure is actually a set of smaller and smaller houses, stacked one against the other. Thus, access to this fairy tale house is only possible by snowmobile. Known throughout the world today, the Goose Creek Tower is 55 meters high, the equivalent of 15 floors. At its top, the house that touches the sky offers a 360-degree view of the forest, more than 480 kilometers away, according to the estimates of its creator. Arcup, a French startup based in Miami, specializes in the design of floating homes. Among all its creations, this house is certainly the most unusual. And for a good reason. The company has in fact created a new generation of housing designed to resist the movements of the sea. Dutch architect Koen Olduis has succeeded in killing two birds with one stone, half house, half yacht. This little gem of technology is even environmentally friendly. The boat is solar and electric, autonomous, and equipped with a rainwater purification system. And that's not all. Able to travel at 13 kilometers per hour, this comfortable 400 square meters wandering home was designed to withstand a Category 4 hurricane. The only downside is its price, which has the meter running wild, $5.5 million, or the trivial sum of €4.9 million. Nevertheless, this house will undeniably offer its owners an extraordinary luxury. The California desert holds many mysteries. The mirages can appear all more astonishing than the other. So, when a house made entirely of reflective materials was built, it was legitimate to wonder if it was real. And it is. The American artist Doug Aitken has indeed created a house covered with mirrors as part of Desert X, an event that brings together some 15 artists who stage their plastic works in these splendid landscapes. Thus, in the Coachella Valley, California, in 2017, architecture with the evocative name of Mirage was erected. In addition to capturing light naturally, this house blends in completely with the desert setting. The artist did not do things by halves since the interior of the house is also lined with large mirrors. This architectural work is truly breathtaking. Here is now a house that seems as dizzying as it is unimaginable. Aptly named Cliff House, this splendid dwelling seems to float in the air. With a magnificent swimming pool and an ultra-modern design, this house could make more than one person dream. You have certainly already heard about it. This image has practically gone around the world. Unfortunately, this beautiful villa has never existed. This is just a digital work of art created by the JWT agency as part of an advertising campaign for an adhesive. Yes, this house is ultimately nothing more than a simple fester advertisement. In fact, the other posters in this campaign are just as amazing, but they're not real. Dubai is now known worldwide for its extravagance in terms of surprising and original constructions. Proof of this is the artificial archipelago named the World, about its shape, as it is built to be a faithful representation of the continents. Gathering between 250 and 300 private islands, this project was nevertheless stopped for a few years because of the financial crisis in 2007. But now, the project is moving forward at a fast pace, preparing to offer dream properties to many people. Although the project is far from being entirely finalized, some places are already home to some quite amazing houses. This is the case, for example, with this half-underwater floating house. Built by the real estate agency Kleindienst, this house reserved for luxury clients has been christened Floating Seahorse. It has an entire underwater floor consisting of a bedroom with a large bay window in the walls, from which it is possible to observe the fishes. As for the non-submerged part of the house, it was built according to an ultra-modern design. All this explains the expensive price of the house, which amounts to $2.4 million, or nearly €2,137,000. Well, it's not for nothing that Dubai will always make us dream. Now it's your turn to tell us which of these houses is, in your opinion, the most incredible?